Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Erin Palmer. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. It is so great having you here on our channel. Such a pleasure to have you here and such a pleasure to meet you.
It's really nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, certainly. So I want to kick this off with just having you introduce yourself to our viewers and what you're running for.
That's wonderful. Thank you. My name is Erin Palmer, and I'm running for DC Council Chairwoman. Um, I am a mom, I'm an ethics lawyer, and I'm a local neighborhood elected official.
Mhm.
I moved to DC about 17 years ago for law school. I went to American. And then after law school, I clerked at the DC Court of Appeals, which is the highest level DC court, where I met Eric, my husband,
Ah.
and we got married shortly thereafter. And we have three children. They're 11, 8, and 6. I refer to them on social media as the monsters because they are chaos tornadoes. They are just like little balls of energy that never stop moving. They really do like spin around.
Yes.
Um, they're very wonderful. They've definitely impacted my life greatly. Um, so professionally, I am a lawyer, and most recently, I worked as the lawyer advisor for a group of judges that oversees federal judicial misconduct
Mhm.
complaints. This was really interesting, especially over the last few years as the Me Too movement happened and the federal judiciary also confronted some of those same issues, and we had to address workplace misconduct and things like sexual harassment, and made
Mm.
some pretty big and important changes. But it was definitely, I mean, the judiciary is like very status quo oriented. So making change is like hard, and it was interesting and valuable to see from start to finish.
Certainly,
Um, yeah,
certainly.
yeah. And
So,
I'm sorry, and
no,
I'm an
no, go ahead,
advisory
go ahead.
neighborhood commissioner, which, as you know, is like the local neighborhood elected official. And I'm a commissioner in Tacoma, DC.
There you go. And you said you're an ANC, so of course the community is so important to you. So talk to me a little bit about, why you're running for this position during this cycle. What made this year the perfect time or
Sure,
next year to
sure.
run for this position?
Yeah. Well, I'm running to be DC Council Chairwoman to bring new energy, vision, and compassion to thinking about and trying to solve some of DC's challenges. Um, I talk about pretty regularly some of our family basic rules. Like we have three things that we try to do every day. We try and get outside for some period of time. We try to do something to learn, and we try to do something every day in support of community. And
Yeah.
that really embodies what I try to live for myself and for my kids, which is that community service is a daily practice, and it's just something that you build into your everyday life. It's not something that you ever stop doing in support of community. And so that's kind of my personal philosophy. And in terms of the right now, I think my family, like many families, has struggled throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And
Hmm.
we've seen both new cracks and like deepening cracks in terms of people who are struggling to meet their basic needs. And particularly in places and neighborhoods that have faced long-standing disinvestment and neglect. Um, and now that we're coming out of COVID, we have what some people have called like a K-shaped recovery. So that's people who are doing okay, continue to do okay or do better. People who are struggling continue to struggle or do even worse. And so we really need a course correction to make sure that we're lifting everyone and everyone's life is getting easier and more supported. Um, and we have some challenges on the DC Council where it seems like some council members, including the incumbent I'm running against, are more concerned about special interest groups and lobbyists and maybe take the view that helping those at the top trickles down to those at the bottom, whereas I
Hmm.
see helping those with the most need as lifting us all up. Um, and just to talk for a moment about the current chair, I think he has been an obstacle to taking care of people with need, whether that's making sure schools have librarians, which we know there have been disparities in schools in Ward 7 and 8, primarily not having librarians, raising taxes on just the very wealthy so that we can provide more housing to people who are homeless or have need for housing. And working proactively to resolve ethics and corruption, even within the DC Council itself, which we saw with former council member Jack Evans, and how it took significant time and effort to pull the council along to take action there. So I think now is the time for new leadership, and a change and some new energy for helping people.
Certainly, certainly. So if you're elected to the council, what is the top issue? What are the top issues that you are just going to tackle? The ones that are at the forefront of your mind that you really want to make some strides with?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for such a straightforward question, it's often hard to answer because there are so many things and so many issues. But the things that jump out to me are treating basic needs as human rights. So things like housing, education, and healthcare as things that people are entitled to, safe, stable, and secure housing, not something you have to fight for. It's a framework shift that hopefully helps us all think about basic needs in a different way. I also think ethical and accountable government is a top issue, and that's not just the DC Council itself, but also how the council conducts oversight of government agencies, which is a very core function. And when the council isn't doing that well, we see government agencies that aren't doing what they should be doing, and challenges with the District Department of Transportation or District Department of Public Works, and things like maintenance of school facilities. All that stuff falls through the cracks, particularly if the DC Council isn't doing oversight. And then the third thing I would say is a resilient DC, which means having a DC that's strong enough to withstand challenges, whether that's another public health emergency or what we know is coming that's a big challenge, which is climate change. And we really need like very robust, focused investments in fighting climate change.
Certainly, certainly. And I'm glad you brought up climate change, because that, of course, is something that should be on everyone's mind, and something that everyone should be, really working their best towards making sure that we are staying within the boundaries of, not destroying our earth. So let's talk about why you are the best choice for voters. What separates you from the incumbent, and why are you the best choice for voters?
Sure. Well, I think we're kind of in a place where we know that the same people doing the same things will get the same results, and that really isn't working. And I think I'm someone that can bring some new energy and experience, familiarity with institutional ethics and accountability, seeing that start to finish. I also have diversity of thought and experience. I haven't been in the DC Council for decades. I have some other life experiences that I think help inform how I see the world, and my ability to relate to and empathize with other people. And I think a big distinction is that I'm participating in DC's Fair Elections program, which is public financing. That's the matching of local DC donor donations. I'm the only candidate in the race to be participating and have qualified for the program. And it's a great program. It means I will be engaged with and accountable to residents. And it's also the only reason why someone like me, who's not connected to money and power, is able to run a race that's competitive against a longtime incumbent.
Certainly, certainly. So for all the viewers out there who are not sure when voting begins, the primary, all of that, could you just give us some dates about when voting is so people can get it together right now?
I love that question. I think voter education is a really wonderful thing. And I talk to my kids about voting all the time, even though they're not of voting age yet. The Democratic primary, I'm looking at my computer to make sure I have the date right, is June 21st, 2022. And we will hopefully have in place by then what is proposed legislation right now for a permanent vote by mail option, which would
Mhm.
expand the window of when you could vote to the couple of weeks before Election Day, and really improve access and inclusion for voting. I worked really hard on advocating for vote by mail for the last election cycle, as well as improving it from the primary election to the general. And it was so much better from the primary to the general. And I think we're really set up to have like a great vote by mail option that will make voting easier for people.
Certainly. And I want to remind all our viewers that if you want to make sure that you are vote ready by next year, you can text Team Racine to 40649. Check your status, register to vote, get it all done from right now. And you can do that by just texting Team Racine to 40649. Now, Erin, for people who want to keep up with what you're doing, if they want to learn more about you, if they want to just support you, how can they go about and do that?
Thank you. That is a wonderful question. Well, my website is a one-stop shop. It's www.erinfordc.com. You can read more about me and my views, as well as donate, and see some upcoming events. We're doing meet and greets and Erin on Your Block, which are neighborhood walks in various places across the district. We'll be in Anacostia on December 4th at 11 with two of the local commissioners there, and that should be wonderful. I really like walking and seeing the neighborhood, so if anyone ever wants to walk around and show me things, I'd really welcome that. I'm also on social media, Facebook and Twitter at Erin for DC, and you can reach me by email at erin@erinfordc.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Erin, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure chatting with you. And of course, I wish you the best on your campaign. To all the viewers, the links to Erin's website will be in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me. To our viewers, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.